Greatness has never been loud at the beginning. It has never been surrounded by applause, celebration, or flashing lights. Instead, it's born in silence, in the quiet hours when no one is watching, when the world is asleep, and you are awake, building something only you can see. The truth is, every story of victory begins in places nobody talks about. The lonely gym, the late-night desk, the small apartment where you cry in frustration but keep pushing anyway. Think about the greatest people you've ever admired. Their victories may have been celebrated by millions, but their journeys began in the shadows. They trained, they failed, they fought, and they got back up, all without the validation of others. And that's the hard part, because when you're working in silence, doubt becomes your loudest enemy. You start asking yourself, does this even matter? Will anyone ever notice? What if I fail and nobody cares? Those thoughts echo louder than applause ever will. And yet, the only way to find greatness is to keep going in that silence. Picture yourself right now. Maybe you're chasing a dream that feels impossible. Maybe you're working hard and nobody is clapping for you. No recognition, no likes, no validation. Just effort. Day in and day out. It feels like you're invisible. But here's the truth you need to remember. Greatness is never built in the spotlight. The spotlight only arrives once the work is done. Every quiet sacrifice you make, every hour of practice, every single moment you choose discipline over comfort. Those moments are the bricks that build your victory. They don't feel glamorous. They don't feel rewarding in the moment. But one day, when you stand in the light of your success, you'll realize that silence was your greatest gift. Because silence kept you focused. Silence forced you to be resilient. Silence gave you the strength to keep fighting when applause would have distracted you. The problem today is that people crave instant validation. Everyone wants their effort to be noticed, liked, and praised right away. We live in a world where silence feels like failure. If nobody sees your progress, you start believing it doesn't matter. But that's not true. Progress is always invisible before it becomes undeniable. Seeds grow underground before they rise above the soil. Muscles grow in the quiet repetition of countless unseen workouts. Businesses rise from years of quiet grind before the world calls them overnight success. You see, silence tests your belief in yourself. Can you keep going without being noticed? Can you believe in your vision when nobody else does? Can you sacrifice today knowing that the payoff may not come for years? That's where greatness is forged. Not in comfort, not in recognition, but in the silence of your private battles. Think of an athlete training in the dark before sunrise, their body aching but their spirit unshaken. Nobody sees those mornings. Nobody cheers them on. But when the championship comes, when they stand on the podium with the world watching, that's when silence transforms into victory. Or think about an artist painting late into the night, doubting whether anyone will ever understand their work. Years later, the world calls them a genius. But the genius wasn't born on the stage. It was born in the quiet struggle that nobody saw. You, too, are in that silence right now. And maybe it feels unbearable. Maybe it feels like you're stuck in a place where no progress shows. But understand this. The silence you hate today will become the proof of your strength tomorrow. Because while others quit when nobody is watching, you kept going. And that is the difference. The truth is, victory always reveals what silence built. When the world finally sees your results, they won't understand the tears, the sleepless nights, the failures, the rejection. They'll only see the glory. They'll only see the success. But you'll know. You'll know every ounce of effort it took to get there. And that's why victory tastes so sweet, because you're not just celebrating the result, you're celebrating the journey nobody else saw. So right now, if you're working in silence, don't give up. Don't mistake quiet for failure. Don't confuse invisibility with insignificance. You are building something the world cannot yet see. And one day, when you finally step into your victory, the silence will no longer feel like emptiness. It will feel like the foundation that held you together. Greatness doesn't announce itself in the making. It reveals itself in the winning. Keep working. Keep fighting. Keep believing. Your silence is not your prison. It is your training ground. And when your time comes, the world will finally understand what you already knew. You were never average. You were always destined for victory. Silence is where you meet yourself. It's in those quiet moments that you find out who you really are. When the applause is gone, when the encouragement disappears, and when it's just you and your goal. That's when your true character is revealed. And the truth is, greatness doesn't come to the loudest person in the room. It comes to the one who can stay committed long after the noise fades. Think about how the world works. Most people only move when others are watching. They perform when there's an audience. They grind when there's recognition. They show effort only when validation is guaranteed. But the world doesn't reward those who only work for attention. It rewards those who can work in the dark, with no spotlight, no guarantee, and no applause. This is where the idea of delayed gratification separates the average from the exceptional. Everyone wants results now. They want success today. But greatness isn't microwaved, it's slow-cooked. It's built day by day, habit by habit, choice by choice. It's about delaying pleasure today so you can live in victory tomorrow. That's why silence feels so difficult. It forces you to wait, to trust, and to keep going without proof. But let's be real, silence is also painful. Because you want people to see your effort. You want them to notice the long hours, the sacrifices, the dedication. And when they don't, when nobody claps for you, you start wondering if it's even worth it. That's the trap most people fall into. They stop because they don't get recognition fast enough. But you're different. You're listening to this because deep inside, you already know your greatness won't come overnight. You already know that patience is part of the process. And here's the truth you need to hear right now. Silence doesn't mean you're being ignored. Silence means you're being prepared. It means life is shaping you, testing you, refining you. Every setback, every delay, every moment of obscurity is building resilience in you that others won't have. And when the moment of victory arrives, you'll be stronger, sharper, and more capable than those who gave up too soon. Let's take an example. Imagine two runners preparing for a marathon. One runs only when people are watching, posting every workout online, needing applause to keep going. The other wakes up before dawn, runs alone in the cold, pushes through without a single like, without a single clap. Who do you think will be ready on race day? The one who relied on recognition, or the one who built strength in silence? The answer is obvious. Silence builds a kind of power that cannot be faked. The same is true for you. Every quiet night of study, every unseen practice, every lonely sacrifice is preparing you for a victory so great it will shock everyone around you. And when that day comes, people will say, "You're so lucky." But you'll know luck had nothing to do with it. Silence did. Discipline did. Persistence did. The truth is, the world doesn't see the grind. It only sees the result. They don't see Kobe Bryant practicing in the gym at 4 a.m. They don't see Oprah Winfrey rehearsing behind closed doors. They don't see Steve Jobs tinkering in his garage. They only see the championship, the empire, the success story. But every one of those victories was built in silence. And if you're in silence right now, you're in the same company as the greatest people who ever lived. But here's the part nobody tells you. Silence is a choice. You can choose to run from it, or you can choose to embrace it. You can waste your energy trying to get people's attention, or you can save that energy to build something that will demand attention on its own. Because real greatness doesn't need to scream. Real greatness speaks for itself when the results are undeniable. And the beautiful thing about silence is that it strips away the noise. It forces you to focus on what really matters, the work, not the praise, not the approval, just the work. And when you master that, when you fall in love with the process instead of the validation, you become unstoppable. So if you feel overlooked right now, if you feel invisible, don't take it as a sign you're failing. Take it as confirmation that you're exactly where you need to be. Because the people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who seek attention first. They're the ones who let their results do the talking. And trust me, when your results speak, they will speak louder than anything you could ever say. Your silence is your preparation. Your silence is your training ground. Your silence is the secret weapon that will one day transform into victory. Stay patient. Stay focused. Stay relentless. Because every quiet step forward is taking you closer to the moment where the world has no choice but to recognize what you've built. And when that day comes, you won't need to explain yourself. You won't need to prove anything. Your success will speak for you. And all the people who doubted you, ignored you, or overlooked you will finally see the truth. Greatness doesn't start in the spotlight. It starts in silence. Greatness is like a seed. When you first plant it, Nobody sees it. Nobody claps. Nobody cheers. It's buried under dirt, hidden from the world. And if someone were to walk by, they wouldn't even know it exists. That's how your dream feels right now. Buried, silent, unseen. But just like a seed, silence is not the end. Silence is where the roots grow. And those roots are what give you the strength to rise. See, when people don't see progress, they assume nothing is happening. But underground, in the places no one can see, the foundation is being built. That's what's happening with you. Every hour you put in, every sacrifice you make, every time you choose discipline over distraction, it's building your roots. And the deeper the roots, the stronger the tree. The world has tricked us into believing that success is instant. Social media shows us highlight reels, the trophies, the celebrations, the wins. But it doesn't show us the years of silence behind them. That's why people quit too early. They think silence means failure, when in reality, silence means foundation. Think about an iceberg. On the surface, you only see the tip. But underneath, hidden from sight, is a massive structure holding it up. Without that unseen foundation, the iceberg wouldn't survive. Your life works the same way. The silent years are not wasted. They're the foundation of everything you're about to build. And let me tell you something powerful. Silence builds toughness. When you work without recognition, you develop a fire inside that doesn't depend on applause. You learn how to keep going even when no one notices. That's mental strength. And that's why most people can't handle silence. They need validation too soon. But you're stronger than that. You're proving to yourself, day after day, that your effort is not for approval, it's for your destiny. Let's look at history. Thomas Edison made over 1,000 failed attempts before inventing the light bulb. Imagine the silence in those failures. Nobody was cheering. Nobody was celebrating. People probably called him crazy. But he kept going, because he knew the silence was temporary. And when his invention lit up the world, that silence turned into victory that still shines today. Or think about Michael Jordan, cut from his high school basketball team. He went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. But then he made a decision to turn the silence of rejection into fuel. He trained harder than anyone else. He worked when nobody was watching. And when the world finally saw him play, his victory wasn't just skill. It was the result of relentless work in silence. This is what greatness demands from you. To accept the silence. To trust the process. To believe that just because the world doesn't see your progress, yet doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Here's the challenge. Can you clap for yourself when no one else does? Can you wake up early, grind, push, and sacrifice without anyone giving you a pat on the back? If you can, you're already ahead of 90% of people. Because most people need constant validation. But the greatest victories come to those who can keep moving in silence until the results speak for themselves. Silence is not punishment. It's protection. Think about that. Sometimes life hides you because you're not ready yet. If success came too early, it might crush you. The silence is preparing you to carry the weight of victory when it arrives. Because make no mistake, victory is coming. The only question is, will you endure the silence long enough to reach it? Every setback, every rejection, every unnoticed effort is shaping you. It's not wasted time, it's training time. You're building resilience, focus, and strength that people who take shortcuts will never have. And when your breakthrough finally comes, it will not be fragile. It will not be temporary. It will be built on years of unseen effort, making it unshakable. So here's what you do. Stop complaining about silence. Start embracing it. Use it. The silence is your secret advantage. Because while everyone else is desperate to be seen, you're building in the shadows. And when you finally reveal what you've built, it will be undeniable. The truth is, people don't remember the noise. They remember the victory. Nobody talks about the nights Muhammad Ali trained alone. They talk about the championships. Nobody remembers the silence of Serena Williams practicing endlessly. They remember the trophies. Nobody cares about the countless rejections J.K. Rowling faced when trying to publish Harry Potter. They care about the empire she built afterward. And the same will be true for you. They won't remember the silence you endured. They'll remember the victory you achieved. But here's the beautiful twist. You will remember the silence. You'll remember every lonely night, every early morning, every sacrifice. And when you stand in victory, that memory will make it even sweeter. Because you'll know, you earned it. You built it in silence. So, the next time you feel invisible, don't get discouraged. Get excited. Because invisibility is where greatness is built. The world doesn't need to see your grind right now. The world just needs to be ready when your results arrive. And when they do, no one will be able to deny you. Greatness isn't loud. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't need applause to survive. Greatness is patient. Greatness is disciplined. Greatness is built in silence and revealed in victory. Greatness is not built on the stage. It's not built under the spotlight. It's built in the shadows, in the quiet places when nobody's watching. Victory doesn't happen in the roar of the crowd. It happens in the silence of your sacrifice. Think about the moments people don't see. The nights you stay up studying when your friends are sleeping. The mornings you wake before the sun to chase your goals. The weekends you give up to work on your dreams while others party. Those are the moments that shape your destiny. Not the applause, not the awards, but the silence. The truth is, silence is the most powerful part of your journey. Because silence tests you. When no one's watching, will you still give your best? When there's no praise, no recognition, no reward, will you still push forward? That's the question that separates the dreamers from the doers, the average from the great. It's easy to look motivated when everyone's cheering. It's easy to give effort when the world is applauding. But the real measure of greatness is what you do when there's no one there to clap. Do you stop because no one notices? Or do you rise because your dream is bigger than their approval? Let's take a moment and think about the greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders in history. They didn't rise because they craved attention. They rose because they gave everything in silence. Kobe Bryant wasn't remembered only for his championships. He was remembered for the Mamba mentality, the early mornings, the extra hours, the silent work when nobody was around. He once said, "Great things come from hard work and perseverance." No excuses. That's not about noise, it's about silence. Or take Steve Jobs. For years, Apple wasn't the powerhouse we know today. He faced rejection, setbacks, even being kicked out of his own company. Imagine that silence, being removed from the very thing you built. But instead of quitting, he worked in the shadows, kept creating, and when he returned, he transformed not just Apple, but the entire world. That's silence turning into victory. Here's what you need to realize. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. While others waste time seeking attention, you're building something real. While they show off, you're leveling up. While they brag, you're preparing for a victory so loud it won't need words. And here's the thing about silence. It gives you peace. When you're not worried about proving yourself to others, you can focus on proving yourself to yourself. That's where real growth happens. Because greatness isn't about comparison, it's about commitment. Not to their expectations, but to your own potential. But I won't lie to you. Silence is hard. It can feel lonely. It can feel like nobody believes in you, like nobody sees your effort. You might even question yourself. What's the point? Why am I grinding so hard if no one notices? But that's the test. Can you trust the process when the results aren't visible yet? Can you plant seeds today without needing to see the tree tomorrow? The farmer doesn't plant in the morning and expect a harvest by evening. He understands that growth takes time, that silence is part of the process. You need to think the same way. Your dream is not Amazon Prime. It won't arrive overnight. It's a long, silent journey. But if you stay consistent, the harvest will come. And when it does, the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. And you'll smile, because they'll never understand the years of silence. They'll never understand the lonely nights, the sacrifices, the sweat, the tears. They'll only see the victory. But that's okay, because the victory is yours. So the question I have for you is this. Can you handle being unseen? Can you handle working in silence long enough to outlast the ones who quit too soon? Because that's where greatness is built. Not in shortcuts, not in applause, but in persistence. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. Greatness is boring before it's exciting. It's repetition. It's showing up every day. It's doing the work over and over, even when you don't feel like it. Silence is not glamorous. It's discipline. It's consistency. It's choosing the long road when everyone else is chasing the fast one. And when you finally break through, when the victory is revealed, it won't just be about success. It'll be about who you became in the silence. Stronger, smarter, tougher, more resilient. That's the real reward. Because victories fade. Trophies collect dust. Applause dies down. But the person you become, the character, the discipline, the resilience, that stays forever. That's the true greatness. So let me remind you, the silence you're in right now is not a prison, it's preparation. You're not stuck, you're being shaped. Every unseen hour is a brick in the foundation of your legacy. And when the world finally sees what you've built, they'll realize you were never behind. You were simply building in silence. And on that day, when victory is revealed, it won't be a surprise. It will be inevitable. Because greatness is built in silence, and silence always speaks louder than noise when the time is right. Greatness is built in silence, but it's revealed in victory. And this, right here, is the part most people never reach because they gave up in the silence. They couldn't handle being unseen. They couldn't handle the waiting, the discipline, the grind. But you are different. You've stayed. You've endured. You've carried the weight when it would have been easier to drop it. And that's why your victory will be louder than the noise of every doubt, every setback, every voice that said you couldn't do it. You see, victory isn't just about winning. It's about proving that the silence had meaning. Every late night, every early morning, every sacrifice, it wasn't wasted. It was building something that no one could see until it was ready. And when it's ready, there's no stopping it. That's why people say overnight success takes years. Because the world only sees the victory. They never see the silence. Think about it. The moment when Michael Jordan hit the game winners, the world cheered. But what about the hours he spent in the gym when nobody was watching? That was the real victory. The championships were just the proof. When Oprah stood on stage as one of the most influential women in the world, the crowd saw the glory. But they didn't see the silent battles, the rejections, the closed doors, the moments she questioned herself. Her victory was revealed, but it was built in silence. And the same is true for you. Your silence today is not wasted. It's not meaningless. It's a forge. It's turning your struggle into strength, your doubt into discipline, your pain into purpose. And when the time comes, your victory will echo so loudly that the world won't be able to ignore it. But here's the truth. You can't stop now. Not when you're this close. Not when your breakthrough is around the corner. The silence is testing you one last time. It's asking, do you really want this? Will you keep going even when no one notices? Will you commit even when there's no applause? Because victory belongs to those who don't quit. Victory belongs to those who keep pushing when everything inside them says stop. Victory belongs to those who realize that temporary silence is worth eternal impact. So here's my challenge to you. Stop chasing attention and start chasing greatness. Stop worrying about who's watching and focus on what you're building. Stop trying to prove them wrong and start proving yourself right. Because the truth is, the only competition that matters is the one in the mirror. Every time you feel unseen, remind yourself, this silence is shaping me. Every time you feel like quitting, remind yourself, this is the test before the breakthrough. Every time doubt creeps in, remind yourself, my victory is already written, I just have to keep walking toward it. And when you do, when you keep going, when you refuse to quit, your victory will be undeniable. They won't just hear about it, they'll feel it. They'll see the fire in your eyes, the strength in your steps, the power in your presence. Because true greatness doesn't need to announce itself. It reveals itself. And when it does, it changes everything. So today, I'm asking you, will you keep going? Will you embrace the silence, trust the process, and hold on long enough to see your victory revealed? Because the choice is yours. You can quit now and settle for ordinary, or you can rise in silence and claim extraordinary. The silence is temporary. The victory is forever. Don't stop in the shadows when the light is waiting for you. Don't waste your pain when it can become your power. Don't silence your own potential before the world gets to see it. Your greatness is not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. And the when depends on your persistence, your faith, your refusal to quit. So keep going. Keep grinding. Keep believing. Let the silence mold you. Let the discipline shape you. Let the unseen hours define you. And then, when the time is right, step into your victory. Because greatness is built in silence, and soon, it will be revealed in your victory. And when that day comes, when the world finally sees what you've been building all along, you'll look back and realize the silence was never empty. It was full of everything you needed to become unstoppable. Now go. Don't just listen. Don't just feel inspired for a moment. Take action. Put in the work. Rise in silence. Build your greatness. And when your victory is revealed, let it be so powerful, so undeniable, so unshakable, that the world will never forget your name. This is your moment. Don't let it slip away. The silence is calling. The victory is waiting. Step into it.